make sure.
We should have a name.
Clap
though.
sync?
We should get a name.
There's only one thing that's being recorded, so there's no point to clap sync. Anyway, like if we're recording video and audio.
All right.
So what can we call this?
So welcome everybody.
Film fuckers.
Three white guys in a pod.
That's actually a podcast that already
God
exists.
damn it.
Yeah.
Wait, three white guys in a pod?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
So, welcome everybody. I'm James. I'm joined by my two guests because I'm just deciding now that I'm the host of this podcast.
I host the other one. You get to host this.
Yo, fucking deal. Handshake that right now. I love that. And then Dan is just, he's sub-host on both.
He's a freelance on both.
I am the
Yes.
color commentary.
Okay, yeah. So if you just introduce yourself, you two, both of you.
I'm Dan. This is my voice. That's what I sound like.
Wow. All right.
I'm Tom, and I like to party.
Wow. I'm
That's from
I'm
Hot
James,
Rod.
and I like to party. Okay.
I know for a fact you don't party.
All right, wait. Okay. See, we're such avid film buffs. We can make film references to these obscure films.
Look at that.
So,
all right, I've been bursting at the seams to talk about my idea for. So me and Dan and I, were talking about the lack of hype for the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
It feels like, unfortunately, even for big Star Wars fans, there's just like a disconnect now, and I think part of that is because there's no lead-in from the last movie. There's no cliffhanger. There's no like dangling plot thread that So I had an idea on how to do that.
All right, cool. I was gonna say like Snoke's dead. Like I honestly don't care where it could go. Right. Spoilers. Yeah.
But here was my idea, and Dan sounded somewhat interested in it. I want to get your feedback on it. So if I were Rian Johnson, and I didn't dislike Last Jedi, but I think there was a way that I would have done it to just a slight adjustment to make it a lot better and to make Episode 9 something that people could get really excited for.
Sorry, I stopped listening after you said that you didn't mind Last Jedi.
I actually liked Last Jedi a lot.
Why am I doing this podcast?
I bounced back around with it. When I first saw it, I loved it, and then
really,
and then I bounced. I never hated it, but I would say I just think it's all right now,
okay. Yeah.
and maybe it's
that's
because it's probably because of the thing that I'm going to talk about, which is, all right, if I were writing the ending of the last movie of The Last Jedi, I would have had the big plot thread that leads into this movie be, the scene in the throne room after Rey and Kylo. Reylo.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
No, that was a thing. People say that.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
really? I was gonna say what you saw like Snoke's hand like twitch or something, like he's still alive.
No,
Spoilers, he's dead.
no, so my idea was, all that still happened. This is the aftermath when everything's gone, everything's burning and
when
stuff.
everything is fine and nothing matters.
Yeah. Rey, Kylo reaches his hand out and says like, there's no good guys, there's no bad guys, there's just us trying to survive. And because I really like that idea a lot, and I think that's the only area left of Star Wars to like explore.
Yeah, I agree.
In the movie.
Yeah.
So, in the movie, she's I can't remember the exact. She's just like no. I can't remember. But
I don't remember either. Yeah.
My idea, and I was telling Dan this earlier. It gets me annoyed.
This is like how we're edging the audience. We're like, this is the idea. If you just keep
it's
on
totally
listening.
not just that I can't tell a story.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a commercial break.
Yeah. Actually, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Blue Apron.
Yeah. All right. So I'll cut to the chase. So when Kylo holds out his hand, and Rey rebukes him, that's exactly where, instead of that, my version of the movie would be Kylo reaches out his hand and says, I love you. No. Kylo, what are you doing? He goes, join me. And we get a cut, a shot of the hand, and then a shot of Rey's reaction, just, like confused, not knowing what to do. And then you cut away back to the battle on Crate, and you never see what happens. You never see what her decision is.
Do you see Rey at the end?
No.
So she doesn't save people at the end. They rewrite the ending a little bit.
Well, yeah, there's a different way that you get out of it.
You don't see her again. You just are totally left with the question of what she did.
I think
That would be the
I think it's a
whole
better-
advertising for the new
And
movie.
I think I agree. The reason why I agree is because I think that they've kind of written Kylo a little bit into a corner. I tend to think that he has this story of the Anakin redemption, which is the obvious parallel. I mean, they've been pushing that since, Force Awakens. There's this obvious parallel that he is the Sith to be converted here, right? You're not going to convert Snoke. You're not going to convert the dead Emperor or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Can't even touch that because we don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
It's
he's like
just
the
a
spirit
voice.
of evil.
Exactly, the spirit of evil itself, Satan, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Literally Satan, or maybe Darth Maul's literally Satan, but he's kind of Satan too. Yeah,
Satan 2,
Yeah.
Satan,
the prequel.
the
Beelzebub.
prequel, exactly. Yeah,
Beelzebub.
exactly. I think they wrote him into a corner because it's either he's evil at the end of Episode 9 still, and it feels like we failed to redeem him, or we redeem him and it's trite. It's the same thing over and over and over again, which
Yeah.
Star Wars has done, and we've all been kind of cool with it. Anytime
Well,
they ever
it's-
do anything differently, it's always fanboy attacks.
it's like
as we found out
poetry.
in 7.
It's like poetry.
It
Rhymes.
rhymes.
Exactly.
It's a funny character
Exactly.
we've ever
It's-
had before.
It just feels like the reason I'm not that I don't know. I'm not that excited. I think the central point you were saying before is that where's the hype for this? The reason I'm not hyped is because I don't think going in we're gonna see a good resolution for Kylo Ren's story. I'm not sure we will. I gotta be honest, because I think whatever we get is gonna be either a reproduction, and we're just gonna be all kind of like, okay, it's a big whatever. This happened again. Star Wars, the good guys won again, and that's it. Which we all kind of inevitably feel is gonna happen.
Are you saying J.J. Abrams can't write an ending?
I am saying that. Yeah.
How dare you,
I am.
sir?
Or I am saying this. I am saying that you don't switch directors in the middle of a trilogy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not
Well-
necessarily that he can't write the ending,
Well, wasn't the original idea was to have 3 different directors, right?
which
Or
I
no.
also don't.
I
like.
don't know.
I forget what it was,
Yeah.
but because I was watching something a long time ago about the Harry Potter movies, and somebody was talking about Harry Potter and how it relates to Star Wars. It was the same thing. It was supposed to be the same director for all 7.
Yeah, Chris
It-
Columbus.
Yeah, and he did a great job on the first 2.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
he was like, all right, I'm gonna have to spend the rest of my life basically making these movies, so
Yeah.
they decided not to. And then we got some really interesting stuff in the third Harry Potter, the future Harry Potters. I actually think that was a huge win for the Harry Potter
Absolutely.
movies. So I don't know if that's what Disney was going for
You know what
with
I
Star Wars or not, but I think you gotta commit same director for all of them, unless something bad happens, like the director can't do it, follow through with the contract, or decide from the beginning different directors.
And
Yeah,
I think- and I
at
think-
least then you have consistency.
Yeah, and I think it's something like Star Wars where consistency really, really matters to the fan base and to I think,
Everything matters to the fan base.
I
The
mean-
Porgs. Think about the poor Porgs.
Yeah.
If there's a mark on Anakin's lightsaber that wasn't there in
Yeah.
Episode 4, the fans will be
Absolutely.
That's-
exactly.
Absolutely.
I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And I just think look, I get where they were going a little bit with changing certain parts of the story up. We wanted to get away from the predictability a bit. I think was Ryan Johnson's main
He
directing
did.
arc.
Oh.
He did. He
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
did. But I think we strayed a bit, and I don't want to get too far off topic because I know we were just talking about the Kylo Ren and
Yeah.
Rey new ending.
Yeah, I want to get back to
Back to that.
So after what I was talking about already, when we cut back to Crate, like you said, like you both said, there's got to be differences then because Rey doesn't come down and save them. So that could take away. Unfortunately, Rey's moment of I guess her
She's like a good
her
guy.
Dagobah moment, which is her
Oh.
Luke pulling up the X-wing. That's kind of Rey's moment is pulling up the rocks to save not the rebellion, the resistance, because that's an important difference. But in my opinion, that's a really interesting parallel. But I think leading into the new movie and going in a different direction is more important. So that's why I maintain that we do. In my version, you do the thing with Rey. You cut away and you never know what she did. And when we go back to Crate, it's not just battle to the end of the movie. We're not smashing toys together like the new trailer for the new movie, which was smash toys, smash good guy army and bad guy army, and then good guys win.
We're
not gonna do
I
that.
haven't actually watched the newest trailer.
Okay,
Oh,
there's a
okay.
part where he's talking about where just all of a sudden, random clip, there's about 100 resistance ships. Just randomly. Because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the whole fleet pretty much gone?
Yeah, it was just
So how do we get
Supposedly.
It
how
was
do we get from there to I have many
I'll
questions.
put it like this: we were able to fit the remaining Resistance
On-
army in the Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
The war is over. They lost.
I know.
And the only way, and I will say this is one good sign, which is like if they started the new movie directly like in the Millennium Falcon, like that would not work because the war is over. They've lost the war.
Well, unless they like.
I think there's a 5-year time jump.
You think
is
so?
what I've heard.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I've heard I don't know if that's fully
Yeah.
confirmed, but that is like
So they were able to survive and recruit more people over the 5 years.
So this movie will open up 5 years after that.
So
They've had time to build back up.
So that just sounds like.
So the title crawl will actually be like meaningful there because it'll
We'll
be like
see.
5 years of stuff.
5 years of
And they'll
stuff.
probably talk about stuff that's more interesting than stuff that actually takes place during the movie.
No.
Just saying. I bet you.
Kind of like Episode 7.
Now the thing is, I just feel like that's pretty lazy, because I think
I mean, a lot of movies do it.
yes, and that's one thing I don't like.
And that makes it
because-
okay because a lot of people do it.
Because a lot of people do it, exactly. I think it's lazy here. I really do, because I think it's far more interesting when you actually have them totally backs up against the wall.
That is true.
That
I
wouldn't
agree.
be something that Star Wars has really done, right? Empire Strikes Back, yes.
Yeah, they do destroy.
They do destroy a lot of the Rebel fleet.
Mhm.
Obviously the Millennium Falcon's on the run from the Imperial fleet for most of the movie.
But they also they still have a fleet at the end of that movie.
They do have a fleet at the end of the movie, yes. But that's the point. It's different than this. They haven't done this yet, where you have literally the entire Resistance fitting into a relatively small ship. That would be something saying, okay, we're starting from scratch. I think it's way more interesting to start a week after that or something like that.
Yeah, I actually agree with that,
I think it's way more interesting because I just think that now there is adding this certain sense of uncertainty to the way this is going to end. Because I do think inevitably we're going to have,
true.
like what you said, we're going to smash toys together and the good guys are just going to win somehow. And then, Palpatine's back, but don't worry, Rey's suddenly a master and then it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And it's just all fun and happiness in Lucas land, and it's great. And we're all making money.
And that
it's just
doesn't
I
work
don't
for the
know.
times. We can't have happy.
I just don't feel like exactly. Yes, it's 2019. Have they not been paying attention? It's like I just feel like it's so predictable that it's like we don't have a. I don't know. I don't have a stake in this.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I don't have a stake in it because I'm kind of like there's too many untied plot lines that have to be tied up in a 2.5 hour movie that inevitably won't be. Starting with not only just Kylo, but with Rey, what's going to happen with Finn and Poe? We're not really clear on that. I'd say Poe more than
married.
Finn. They'll probably get.
I don't think
married.
anybody cares, to be honest.
I don't know if people
Which
care
kinda
about
sucks.
Finn, which sucks because Finn was getting set up to be a major character and then totally took kind of a back seat in The Last Jedi. And I don't know. The other thing I was just thinking of now, this is unrelated perhaps, but it's related to Star Wars and The Last Jedi and all this, but it's not related to the direct topic. It's just something I noticed and it annoys me. It's semantics. Why is it the Resistance when they were the Republic, like the actual people in charge, right?
Well,
Versus the Rebellion and the Empire, where the Empire was in charge, and that was the reigning sovereign order,
Yes.
right? Even however evil it was.
That's
You have a reigning sovereign order now, which is the Republic, but they're still called the Resistance because they've been supplanted.
that makes sense though, because if they're the rebellion, if they're rebelling against the Empire because it was in charge. Now they're the Resistance because they're resisting the new Empire.
Well, he's saying
guess,
they
but he's saying
were the dominant force in the galaxy at
Exactly.
the beginning of
The
Episode
Republic.
7.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now
that's
a
they're
big
the
part of it.
Resistance,
They didn't
I
make
guess.
it clear because the
No, I think
Republic
they
and
were
the
always called
Resistance
the
are
Resistance.
apparently two different things. The Resistance
Oh.
is like so. So from what I've heard, the Republic, like you're saying, this is why Episode 7. This is why the stakes aren't there because we don't know what shape the galaxy was in.
Wait, just to clarify, the Republic is the Resistance is not the remaining Republic. It's different.
It
Or maybe.
is, but so it's like apparently in between 6 and 7, because they just got out of a gigantic war, the Republic decided to fully demilitarize. To me, that is the stupidest thing
you could ever
because
do.
you know there's Imperial in canon.
Yeah.
There's Imperial remnants that fled to the corners of the galaxy.
Which
So
I'm
you know they're
imagine-
going to come back at some point.
and
I'm
politically-
did that become the first?
Yes,
order
that
or
became the
whatever?
first
And
order.
Okay,
politically too, you obviously would have people who were loyal to the Empire, who would want to gain power back in the Republic, and that's
exactly.
the whole reason we had even a Clone War was because you had people in the Republic that wanted to split
Yes.
or take over and change it.
But the whole reason there was any of this too many midichlorians.
Yeah, exactly.
So why do you demilitarize? So I guess
agree.
I guess just
I didn't know that.
Like
That's
get
stupid.
past. I guess get past. That's just bad.
Yeah.
It's just I don't agree with that
it's-
decision because I think
I reject your reality and I
Yeah.
substitute my own.
we should get
yes. Well, I mean, it's not really a reality.
Yeah.
We should get
luckily.
we should
That's
get
true.
a button so that when we disagree with something, we just hit the button saying
Yeah.
this sucks or something
Yeah.
like that.
I was frustrated because I feel like that you need to shape your universe right from the onset,
That's a good point. Yeah, that's
and
a
they
weak.
didn't.
It's a weak
a
start.
The
weak
original
start,
George
yeah.
Lucas in the original, even in the prequels took chances. Not all of them were great.
Yeah.
But the original trilogy, you get to look at Luke's life,
You get to look at trade deals. You get to look at the
the political inner workings of the Republic,
Yes.
and political standstills,
Hey.
and also selling toys.
Don't knock
yes.
that. I actually found that somewhat interesting.
The trade
It
deals.
could have been
They
interesting.
just never it could have been interesting if they gave you any type of background to it instead of just saying, oh, we're gonna drop a young Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson who.
Say no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're just gonna drop them into the middle of the ship, and then you're gonna root for them because they got robes on and they got the green and blue lightsabers.
Mostly the lightsaber.
Mostly the
Right.
lightsabers.
I mean, so what I would say
Yeah.
is the original trilogy set up its universe because you got to see like the backwater worlds of you got to see
Yeah,
Tatooine,
yeah.
and it's just the Empire. It's you're aware that they're there. You see them in you see an Imperial spy in Mos Eisley. You see stormtroopers kind of doing the rounds, checking in on people. They're like when they stop their speeder. So the Empire's
Wait,
there.
Which movie are you talking about?
The original.
New Hope.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because
The Empire's there,
Okay.
and they are established.
Yeah.
Immediately from the onset, and he even Luke was gonna go to the Imperial Academy. He talks about it early in the movie.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
I haven't
oh,
watched the movie in a while
I gotta
now.
get the Tashi
Yeah.
station power converters.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm realizing now that's a plot hole. Now that you point that out, all of a sudden Luke's just like, "Hey, I'm against the Empire now."
Well, they killed his parents.
They
Yeah.
did.
That's a fair.
Well, no, his
But
aunt and
prior-
uncle.
Well, actually, technically, like, there's a rumor Boba Fett did that, because
really?
in Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader stares at Boba and goes, "No disintegrations," and his parents got disintegrated. They're skeletons.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
No, I
who
think it's
cares?
in canon.
Who
It's
cares,
canon.
Yeah. So anybody.
It's canon. Boba killed.
So we're
Oh,
saying
wait,
that
so
anyone
who
that gets
confirmed that?
disintegrated
George?
in the
Mr.
in-
Lucas?
You know what? When Disney took over, they might have wiped that out. But that was canon, I believe, for a while because it was supposed to just be that
Yeah.
the Empire ordered it. So that's why Luke still has a vendetta, is because
Makes sense.
the Empire maybe they didn't directly do it, although I guess now in canon they did.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
either way, he has a
I
vendetta
guess,
on
but
that.
then still, like, before that, Ben had that whole scene with him where he's talking about his father, and it just seems like they were laying that groundwork for, like, I feel like Luke maybe did it because he felt like that was the only path out of Tatooine.
Yeah, that's
probably
true.
That's
might
fair,
have
and he
been-
wanted
yeah,
to get out of there.
Maybe that was it.
Should we, I almost forgot the end. My different ending at Crate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I?
Oh, wait,
yeah,
you
yeah,
actually-
yeah. There's more?
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Oh,
more.
okay, yeah, I didn't know.
So instead of having, where we were talking about Rey lifting up the rocks and it's her Dagobah moment.
Yeah.
So instead of that, maybe you can move that into episode 9. You can have her moment be something like raising. Maybe you go full Force Unleashed. You ever play that?
Yeah, I love
video
that
game? And maybe Rey's Dagobah moment of picking up an X-wing is like Poe's fighter gets hit during the main battle in episode 9, and she lifts it out of the sky, or into the sky as it's like falling. Maybe that's but that wasn't like
Yeah.
my idea for the ending of the crate
Oh,
battle.
okay.
The idea for the ending of the crate battle is
Finn actually sacrifices himself. And
yes,
they
I
win,
fully agree with
or
that.
whatever.
Because his story arc is kind of
Because
done.
I was when they were doing that, I was like, oh shit, they're actually gonna he's actually gonna
I
do
believed it.
I was like totally like, damn, like this is actually gonna happen, and then it didn't.
Because
And so
you know what?
I was like disappointed. I was like, oh okay, but I mean I like Finn as a character a lot, so but that's why I was like so shocked that they were actually gonna do it, is because like Finn's a really good character, and so that's also kind of why I'm mad that they didn't do it. But,
Yeah.
Because that would have created stakes, and they don't like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would have been decisive about anything.
Yeah.
And the only thing we're seeing in both of these movies so far is that we're not deciding anything. We're just
Nope,
saying
pushing it off to 9.
the only
Yeah.
exactly pushing it off all to the end, and it's just like I agree actually that probably would have made sense. Sacrifice Finn, Maybe
And it didn't have to be Finn.
Daisy
but,
Ridley sheds a tear or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
we move on.
we don't see Daisy. Well, in my ending,
In
but
your
yes,
ending, we don't. Yes.
I agree with you.
You see Daisy. You see Rey.
She
like,
feels it.
oh,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
like Ben Kenobi when Alderaan
Yeah.
gets blown up, she feels
yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Yes, because it's the same thing. Whole planet, one guy.
Well, to her.
No, I know. I know.
But anyway.
Yeah.
But a whole planet of people we don't know versus one
It's
guy
not,
that we know.
It's not your thing. I'm just saying that the logic of it is like it's just funny.
No,
yeah.
I know.
What if
Yeah.
we get a parody version of what you were just talking about, and she goes, "Oh no, my best friend," and his Force ghost is like, "Friend." And then she meets up with Poe at the end, and she's like, "Sup, Poe?" And Finn's ghost is like, "You know what? I did all the work here."
The Force Ghost just says, "Oh shit."
All right, so
Yeah.
so the different ending at Crate, you picked on it. That was the first part. Is Finn actually dies creating stakes, and
He just explodes into a bunch of prime roast steaks.
Primo steaks, yeah.
You were sitting.
Okay.
He
Create
dies
steaks,
creating
yeah.
a bunch
He
of
created
steaks.
oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then Kylo's like, "See, I made some steaks for you guys."
Yes. No.
Right,
Ryan
check out my
Johnson
steaks.
says-
And then people throw each other some beers, and they just have a grill out.
Ryan
Sure.
Johnson
And then
walks onto screen.
That's the ending.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson walks on the screen, stares directly into the camera.
And goes, literally, give me your money.
No, I was gonna say expectations subverted.
Subverted.
Subverting expectations.
It's
Yeah.
tight.
It's tight. Yes.
So here was my the Crate, the finale. After that, so it's almost like you. I don't know if you've ever played Mass Effect 2. Is
Yeah,
it 2?
I love Mass Effect.
You know
yeah.
how like so I've only played a little bit, but I
Yeah.
know at the end the crew dies like one by one.
There's
Or is that 3?
no, it's.
Am I mixing them up?
No, it's the end, the last mission of
The suicide
Mass Effect
mission.
2. Yeah, suicide mission. It's like depending on your decisions you make
Yeah.
through the game and during the final mission.
Yeah.
Either everybody could die or everybody could live.
Mhm.
So.
So I almost see like that, and maybe that would have. I mean, that would be too final. But this movie was already kind of like that because like what you were saying, Dan. Like it feels like there's not a lot to look forward to in the
Yeah.
next one. So it does feel like a lot of things were already like tied up. But so the difference being, so think about that Mass Effect 2 idea. So the characters we've been watching are they're
Like-
dying, but
like-
they're dying in meaningful ways.
Yeah, yeah.
So
like
I'm not
somebody
gonna say
sacrifices
Poe.
himself, like Poe.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I'm not gonna say
I mean,
Poe
not Finn,
dies.
sorry.
Yeah, but so now what I think about what you do with Poe is the whole character arc of Poe was learning, to be a leader without getting everyone killed.
I was thinking
Yeah.
it was more like how to be a subordinate, because
Yeah.
that's because like he was like he was trying to do his own thing and not listen to Commander
Yeah.
whatever Holdo, who was obviously not very good at communicating.
I had an idea for that too.
Okay, wait.
I have an idea, man.
Step back. Let's step
okay.
back.
So
to-
I should do the Poe thing.
Yes.
And then I'll tell you what was you just jogged my memory on the other thing.
Commander Holdo thing. No, Commander.
Yes, no, it was something about Holdo. But
Okay, yeah.
all right, first.
Wait,
let
what
me,
was her title? Commander Holdo? Captain Holdo?
I think she's a general after Leia
Oh,
is
General
incapacitated.
Holdo? Whatever. Okay, yeah.
But
Anyway.
I can't remember.
So so
Also, it doesn't matter
With
because it's a
Poe.
fictional movie and everything we're talking about
After
there's nothing.
Leia flies into space,
Yeah.
Mhm.
all unconscious. and
After
floats back
she
in.
I thought
memes.
it would have made sense to just kill her there. I mean,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
as harsh as that sounds to say, because obviously
No,
Carrie
yeah.
Fisher, rests in peace, but still,
No,
Anyway,
it makes
so-
sense. But so the difference. So Finn has died. I told you the Rey. We don't see Rey again after we don't know her decision. For Poe, wrapping up his character arc for this movie, is he instead of Rey lifting the rocks, he figures out a way to get them out of there. It doesn't really matter
But he has
what
to
it
like
is in
he has to
particular,
like
but
stay
he has to
behind
retreat
or something.
No, so he doesn't die.
Oh, okay.
Because I do want to keep him because his story arc I don't think it's fully done, and they do need like
I
a
agree.
recognizable face leading the charge of the space battle in the new movie. Although that's sort of
Ryan Johnson should just-
Lando. Lando is sort of doing that
Yeah.
too.
Yes,
but
because we have no new ideas.
no, yes, exactly.
Ryan Johnson-
No
Emperor
stakes,
what?
no new ideas.
Who's our villain?
Repeat
it's
stuff.
the guy we had that one time that everybody liked.
Exactly. The repeat stuff, repeat stuff, repeat stuff.
Because we can't create new and interesting characters.
Nope.
So it doesn't. that it's not the specifics don't matter about how they escape with Poe leading the charge out, but the important thing is still there, which is Poe has learned not to take the enemy, like head on every single time. Like that's not the only solution. We see it earlier in the movie when Rose and Finn are like, so we're being tracked. And they bring it to Poe's attention, and then Poe goes, so we blow it up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I like where your head's at, but no. That is a good line for Poe's character.
Yeah,
that's
I
Poe's
agree.
mindset at that time.
I absolutely agree.
You change by the crate battle. Poe's mindset has been changed because now he's talked to Leia after she's
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. Too bad, guys. I'm a snake.
Isn't it great that there's a whole really interesting drop subplot with him where he could have been the arms dealer for both the Resistance and the First Order?
I still think that's live.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because it still wasn't. I don't know. We didn't really elaborate at all, and I think that is something that really could have been cool.
We just went military bad.
That might come up again then.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? That might come up.
I hope
at some I guess there's not too many questions you can easily ask. You're just kind of like, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
There's no really big questions. Except Tom might have a really big question. Yes, Tom.
I am connecting the dots, but Dan gets the credit for this one.
Okay.
Hey,
Dan, you said, I mean, we were just saying, bring him back, right? You bring him back.
You bring him back.
What's his purpose? He is the reason the Resistance isn't like 5 ships now. Maybe they win him back over with money, because that's the only way to win him back. And they get the production lines going again.
Or so maybe he'll maybe they can bribe him to do something bad with or do something that obviously hurts the...
Yeah, sabotage.
That's the word.
Sure.
That's a word. Yeah, that one.
No, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, that is.
Dan, I like that thought of bringing him back and incorporating him through...
Why, thank you.
By bringing back... Helping save the Resistance fleet.
That makes sense.
I mean, we saw on that ship that he stole, there was the holocron, and it shows the TIE fighters, it shows the X-Wing. Yeah.
That's the thing. He wasn't really, as far as we know, we don't know what
maybe
he
he could be the middleman.
Yeah.
He knows the guy.
So you wanted
to say something about General Holdo.
Yeah.
That was your next point.
Oh, Poe. He doesn't die. He gets them out of there. It reiterates that he knows now that head-on contact with the enemy isn't always the solution. They retreat to live another day. That's the main part. It doesn't matter how he does. He probably just blows up that exit and they get out.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we still have Chewie pick them up.
Okay.
Maybe there's more of them though. Maybe we see more ships on the way out so that we're not down to 3 guys.
Okay.
But we'll see, because the 5-year time jump is going to be an important part of that.
So wait, that's definite, or is that a rumor? That's 5-year time jump.
I think it's been heavily insinuated.
Because I'm definitely on Dan's side. I think it would be much more interesting to see them really with their backs against the wall.
Yeah,
but
and
anyway.
maybe the way you do that is the arms dealer. So I think that could be a good idea.
It's a good bridge. I still would like the alternative of like we said before, just picking right up from there, because you also saw this with Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very comparable where, Luke's arm was just cut off. Han's in carbonite. You're leaving quite a bit of cliffhangers setting up for that final movie, because you're all right, we don't know what's going to happen to Han.
That's true, yeah.
Is Luke really just damaged, irreparably? Is he going to ever become a full Jedi Knight because he stopped the training with Yoda? Vader's his dad. When you first watch this, think about it. Put yourself in the shoes of the people that first saw that. Yeah. These were bombshell things.
Yeah.
All of those
just
things were
hitting
huge.
You with haymakers.
Definitely. And that's one difference, I think, going into Return of the Jedi, is that there were stakes, right? Looking back now, you can say, when you were in the movies in 1980 and you left that movie, you're like, holy shit. This entire thing could get upended because Vader looks better than ever. Obi-Wan has been gone since the first movie.
Yeah.
Luke just completely disobeyed Yoda. His arm is cut off, and now they've lost their friend, and we don't know what's going to happen to him.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the rebels are on the run.
They're at their lowest.
They're at their lowest, and it's this could have stakes if they were at their lowest, but now we're just going to jump again.
Well,
in the next film. But to be fair, in Return of the Jedi, they did jump a bit. We don't know exactly how long. I heard it's 2-3 years.
Maybe.
What, in Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, I think it's just a few weeks.
I've heard that it's like longer than that. I've heard it's like 2 years. I'm
I
not.
have no idea.
That's possible because they had to get what's his name? They had to get Lando on the inside. They had to get Chewie's already captured by that time, right? Too.
That's true.
Oh no, because
you know what? Because you might be right though. Because they're leaving for Tatooine to get him on the inside at the end of the movie. So like,
I think there's a little bit of time, but like I don't think time.
It might be a couple months.
Yeah.
But like maybe not a couple years.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and I don't know if it'll work in this case, and I swear I'll get to the whole thing right after this. I just think you guys brought up an interesting thing, which is sometimes I think a time jump. I like if you have someone that's really good with world building, a time jump is fine because then you get to see all the ways that somebody that writes a movie that writes really well, world building wise. They give you like these really interesting nuggets and little Easter eggs and tidbits that allude to what's happened in between the time jump, like the before and the after.
Right. Yeah.
I don't trust the writing of the new Star Wars movies to do that.
Yeah.
To be able to world build because we didn't even do it from the onset. So why would it get good out of nowhere when we have the same staff and the same director and the same writer? So
the best time jump movie where they show like different different periods of time in one person's life is in my opinion It's a Wonderful Life. Because that's exactly what they do. It's kind of before you could do like all these special effects, obviously. So they would do things like they would change the president's portrait in the background and stuff like that to let you know as the new year has been a few years.
And the cars change.
Exactly.
In the beginning, when he's a kid, there's horses.
Exactly.
Because it was 1911
very clever
or something like that. I think it was 1911, and then obviously 35 years go by, and
So that's exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's subtle things like obviously if I was a filmmaker, I would be like, it's the future now. It's 2019. Yeah. It's what's that movie? Blade Runner. Like, also, Blade Runner is this month. It was November 2019 was when that movie took place. Yeah, when the original took place.
Huh.
But
and we haven't quite fallen apart that much.
No,
we're getting
never say never.
Oh yeah. But actually,
it's like 3 days from now. It's like everything's like Blade Runner.
Complete dystopia. Yeah.
I love that you bring up It's a Wonderful Life because
I love it too. Thank you.
Yeah, because they didn't have special effects and like maybe the type of like crossfades and title cards that you
they
had title
dense,
cards, but no, but you know what I like is the fact that because they didn't have a ton of special effects, they couldn't just put that generic thing in the corner 5 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they could with like an old timey card, but they decided to show it.
Yep.
They show, don't tell.
Yes.
Show me how things have changed. Don't just be like, things have changed, and you go and nothing has changed.
Yeah.
They do that in It's a Wonderful.
Exactly.
That's so funny that.
That's a good parallel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
it's
I
so
do
funny
think
that our Star Wars discussion led us to It's a Wonderful Life.
But I also think though that the best way to possibly do this is to take the SpongeBob narration and the card,
yes,
and then just put that in the beginning of the credits.
Yeah.
For Star Wars, and just say 5 years.
The title crawl is like at the end where it's like and then you get 5 years later. Okay, Holdo.
Yes, Holdo. This will be the last.
Oh.
Dan just kicked my computer.
I'm sorry.
This will be the last topic of the podcast,
sure.
right? It's been about 35 minutes. So,
okay. Sure.
So after Tom talks about his point, we'll wrap it up.
Okay. Holdo, which is like a curse word in Star Wars now when you're talking about Star Wars. I had maybe it was just the way I was watching it. I saw it like 3 times.
Okay.
So
Were you watching? Were you covering your face? Your eyes were like.
I watched it in different ways. One time I had my fingers just so that I could barely see, and another time I faced the other way of the screen and just listened. No.
And the other time I was watching but covered my ears.
Yeah. Here was my idea on Holdo and how I think me and Dan had talked about this somewhat recently. How they could have done this. Yeah, we talk about this all the time because we have no lives.
Nope.
My idea was, or not my idea, but what I had gotten from certain camera shots and certain insinuations by like the way a character was talking.
That it was all a dream.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It was all a dream 5 years later.
Yeah.
No, my idea was that I think I don't fault people for being angry about it, but here's my idea on how they could have made it a little bit more out there, like, to the public, so that people wouldn't be questioning, like, why didn't Holdo just... here comes my fanboy voice. Why didn't Holdo just tell the whole story to Poe? And my idea was, and I think they allude to it, but I don't think... I know you don't want to be heavy-handed. Mm-hmm. I know you want to make things... you want to show and not tell. But in this situation, I think they too softly alluded to Holdo thinking there was a traitor on board. Mm-hmm. And there's a shot in the movie where they're meeting after they've destroyed the Dreadnought and they've hit hyperspace. And they've just figured out that, when they jump to hyperspace and then the Star Destroyer appears behind them, and they're like, how could this have happened?
Right, yeah.
My insinuation from this whole scene, because there's also a shot that shows Poe being very, like, Poe looks like a dissident, like, because Holdo's like, and we can't be fly boys that are taking the enemy head on, and you see a shot of Poe where he's like, like, head down, well, head sorted down, but he's got, like, his eyebrows down, like, really, it looks like a hard, like a scowl. Mm-hmm. Is that the word? Yeah, a scowl.
Yeah,
and I almost thought they were going for, because I had heard what turned out to be a fake, but an interesting idea for The Last Jedi from the get-go was that the whole movie would be like not a whodunit, but like there was a traitor on board, and you were trying to figure out who the traitor was. Yeah. And because, the first time I'm seeing it, I have that in my mind, and now they show that shot of Poe looking somewhat guilty-ish.
Wait, did you
I
think
thought
Poe...
he might have been a traitor.
Really?
And because they're like, how could somebody have tracked us in hyperspace?
Right.
Well, it would have required somebody to, like, put something physically on the ship. And I was like, huh. Mm-hmm. Poe has seemed somewhat, like, annoyed with the leadership. Like, not...
So let's blow it all up.
Yeah, well, not that...
I would have never assumed it was Poe, but if they had... If, whatever, that was a thing, if that was the plot, I would have never assumed it was Poe, which might have made him the perfect candidate to be traitor.
I'm not sure that they have the balls to do that.
No, absolutely not.
See, that would be weird, though. That would be... That's a totally different movie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I
agree.
They could have done it. But
a lot of people would like a completely different movie.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You got me there.
I think completely different, not the worst thing with that one.
One day, I kind of want to write my version of what I would have done with it.
Just do it.
Because there's ideas that I have
So if we do, like, some type of, regular media outlet thing that we make podcasts, we make videos, we make writing stuff,
how it should have been done.
Yeah,
how it should have been.
And people have done this before.
How it should have ended is already a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
it's a very popular.
But
how it should have been.
How it should.
Much different.
How it should have been written, not the ending specifically, but the whole damn thing.
No, yeah. But like obviously, like because you can have posts like that, or we can make films like that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think as a recurring point of topic, you could always say, what we should have done is, we should call it Monday morning film quarterbacking something. Like,
no, I
after
don't...
the fact, we do our best thinking after the fact.
Yeah. Oh. That's actually kind of funny. Yeah, like hindsight.
Yeah, hindsight is genius. 2020, all that stuff.
Well, because I was gonna say I really don't like that attitude. Because I mean, it's obvious, right? Like I don't mean that. Jokingly, it's fine. Mm-hmm. But I hate when people are like, "Oh, they should have done it." Was this or the other thing? It's like obviously, they didn't.
Well, that's the thing. I think what if we do it ironically, where we have literally the name of the podcast be Captain Hindsights or something like that, like something where we just know, and then we just
it's an idea.
We talk about, like we are. I mean, to be fair, everything we are talking about now is to some extent hacking a bit at something that's already been done.
I thought you were going to say completely worthless.
Yeah.
No.
Well, considering no one's going to listen to it, yes.
Well, maybe.
But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Just for the record, because we're still recording, and like whether or not this makes it into the final cut and that nobody listens to is fine. But we were originally intending, from my understanding, to talk about Joker when we started this podcast. That came out like 2 months ago.
Yeah, a month ago probably.
And so we changed it into Star Wars, and that's fine. And so
we'll do it next time.
Yeah. So I think I think we could just do it. We should have it casual. I don't think we don't have to have a recurring theme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
We could, like, if you want to say, this is my viewpoint, and I'm going to say this thing that I always say, because that's my thing, you know, and I'm Dan. And that's what people want that's what the people want. Then I'll be like, you know what, Dan? You're off the podcast. I'm sorry.
let's have a that sucked button.
I'd be fine with that, yeah.
Yeah, that sucked.
You know?
Hey, that sucks.
Hey, that sucks. Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no.
So, long story short, like, yeah, casual.
James is a dictator.
Casual, but you gotta listen to what I say.
So that was my my understanding when I was watching the movie.
Yep.
That's why I didn't get angry at Holdo, because I felt there was a possibility that Poe could be a traitor, and also I think something about Oscar Isaac specifically that could pull that off is, I mean, he's played a villain before. He was the villain in one of the X-Men movies, and he's played like morally gray characters.
Yeah.
So he has, he's not one of those characters that's always the good guy. So you have an advantage there. You know, it's not like you're casting Chris Evans to be evil. Like, which is tough to.
There's that movie coming
up
out.
your ass.
Yeah.
What's that movie that's
Knives Out?
Yeah.
Which it's possible he'll be the villain in that, but
I mean, they look like they're setting it up to be the villain.
But that's what the movie's trying to take advantage of, is the fact that he has been the good guy.
Yeah, that's true.
He has been multiple superheroes. He was the Human Torch in the original Fantastic Four movies, and
hey, up your ass.
Sure.
I'm just gonna keep saying that.
I think.
Dan, that could be your thing.
Sometimes,
up your ass.
sometimes you could take advantage of people's expectations in a way that doesn't make them angry. That's why I think, I think at some point I really want to do that. The idea of maybe I'll do like an outline of my version of The Last Jedi with tweaks and stuff. I think I don't think it's a bad movie, but yeah, I think there's not a lot of what specifically are people looking forward to in the new movie when you ask them, and I think they'll just be like, it's the ending, or it's the rise of Skywalker. I need to know what that means.
I mean, none of us know what that means.
And like people don't talk about, like, if you went out and you asked people, hey, what are you most excited for? And they said,
Get away from me. I don't know who you are.
Get away from me.
I'm most excited for going to bed at night.
I'm trying to go to work. I'm on the train.
Yeah.
Nobody speaks to me.
I have my AirPods in. That means don't talk to me. Anyway, sorry.
But I think, God, I think I lost my train of thought.
You said what are they most excited for? If you went up to people, and what are they
most
excited for?
I don't think a single soul would say
Wars.
I like insert character's name here. I'm excited for their future. No. No, and specifically, it's nobody's interested about the new characters. Everybody's like, oh, I'm interested.
Lando's coming back.
I'm not going to do the idiot voice because, like, people like these characters.
Idiots like these characters.
Yeah. No. But I think it's fair to be like, oh, I'm interested to see what they do with the older characters. But I think that has taken over any interest in the new characters because we haven't seen enough of the core three. Every Star Wars series has a core three. You have Leia, Han, and Luke. In the prequels, you have Obi-Wan, Anakin, and I guess Padme would be the third. Yeah. And in this series, we have Poe, Finn, and Rey. The three, the prequels had a lot of Anakin, Obi-Wan, talk, and you got to see them be
which is probably one
together.
Of the strongest points of the sequels.
Yeah, and Ewan McGregor's a big part of that.
Sorry. Yeah, obviously,
yeah. And in the originals, I think they have fantastic back and forth because they have screen time together. Yeah. They escape the Death Star together. They start the next movie together, but it feels like they're like a mini family. And for two of them, they are. I wish they had known that before they kissed. But in the new one, the new triumvirate has not had enough screen time together all at once.
I would agree with that.
They have taken, two at a time at the most. But, Rey's been on her own for a lot of this series. Yeah. So I honestly don't see why she's such great friends with the other two. Well, she doesn't really know Poe at all. That they kind of introduce themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's the other thing. Don't have two of your main characters just introduce themselves at the end of the second chapter of your 3-chapter story. Because now they have to pretend like they're buddy-buddy.
Well,
they've known each other. Well, the time
years.
jump.
Yeah.
So they'll be
That's
like,
true.
remember, but that's where you're
Remember
right about
the
laziness.
times when we went out
They could
drinking?
just be, yeah, exactly. And they did a little bit of that with Obi-Wan and Anakin. The beginning of episode 2, when they do a time jump from Anakin being a child to being a teenager, Obi-Wan's like, remember that time you saved me from that nest of Gundarks? And it's like, oh yes, we all remember that time that was never shown until the Clone Wars, the show, showed it.
Oh, really?
But, like, that's the thing. I think having to use that sort of outlet to flesh out the story shows that the original story was
I 100% agree. Yeah.
not enough meat.
You know what? There's only actually, you said, what would I be excited for this new movie, though?
Yeah.
I would answer, what I really hope to see is I really want to see Christian Haydenson and...
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen.
And his evil brother,
Christian
Christian Haydenson.
I want to see Hayden Christensen playing the Force version of Anakin.
Yeah,
I want to see Ewan McGregor playing the Force version of Obi-Wan. And then I want to see Mark Hamill, but the younger version of Mark Hamill.
He's got a toupee.
No, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they fucking CGI younger version of Mark Hamill with the blue Force looking stuff.
I think they'll do the old one. They did that with originally they did that with Darth Vader.
Yeah,
I can't believe that they redid that.
It's the age that you die. It's the age you are when you die.
That's true. I remember reading that in the Bible.
Yeah.
I want to see. Oh, that made me think of something.
What?
Oh God.
And also,
I should stop talking so Tom stop thinking of things.
You also have I like to think if you're doing these Force ghosts kind of come back and they're at peace, but mostly because we're seeing mostly people that died at peace when you see their Force ghosts. Obi-Wan surrenders himself. Yeah. Anakin just forgives. Yeah. He's forgiven.
Yoda is also
Yoda goes out peacefully. We've never seen a Force ghost who died violently. I want to see Mace Windu be like, "What the fuck? I'm a Force ghost."
Wasn't
motherfucker?
Motherfucker!
No, wait.
You killed me, Anakin. Other Force ghosts, and he starts choking the other ghost.
I think the way that Rise of Skywalker ends, the only satisfying way is if we see all these ghosts in at the end, and then all of a sudden Mace's ghost comes in.
Anakin
and says,
on your left.
And just says
Avengers Endgame style.
Just says motherfucker, and then it cuts out.
That'd be amazing.
Then it just cuts out motherfucker, and then roll credits.
You might be onto something in terms of, hey, we're sort of seeing. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say. Obviously, that's not.
I did hear a rumor that Mace Windu's Force Ghost. I feel like I heard a rumor, or maybe I made that up. I thought I heard.
I just feel like they're trying to stay as far away from the prequels as physically possible.
Well, I think they're starting to come back to it a little bit because the fans have said. I think a lot of the fans like the prequels more, which is kind of crazy, and you wouldn't have thought that when, maybe when 7 came out.
I think a lot of it is they grew up on those,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean, we were young when they came out, so.
I'm taking the temperature of the room when it comes to when people are really warming up to Clone Wars era stuff. You're seeing it in the video games, which are canon.
In those movies, really. That was the biggest problem.
I think we had to up the CGI a little bit more. Yeah.
But you're seeing...
It's not believable.
Mm-hmm. You're seeing Disney. Disney is now throwing everything that has worked in the past at the screen to get it to work again. Mm-hmm. You saw it in the episode 7. You saw episode 9 trailer has a battle droid in the background.
Oh, I didn't see that,
prequel stuff there. The trailer, the first trailer, I think, had the background. Was it the Yoda music that you love?
Yes.
And it showed sequences from the prequels. In that, it showed sequences from every era.
Yeah. So actually,
I think they're accepting the prequels a lot more now. Disney, because they're putting it in Battlefront too. In the video games, the only new content that's been coming out
that's true.
is Clone Wars content. So I think...
Can we talk for a second, though, about that trailer? It must have been the first one where they showed the clips from every movie. Mm-hmm. When I was watching it, I literally thought it was a fan-made trailer.
Yeah.
Because it was just these are just clips from other movies. And then, halfway through the trailer, finally it starts showing stuff that you haven't seen before. And I was like, that was probably the worst trailer I've ever seen in my life.
I haven't liked any of the trailers for 9.
There hasn't been a lot. There hasn't been a lot to really see.
I wonder though if you know what they could do. So this, I might have been having this conversation with you guys. I don't think I was. To write endings for stuff is obviously hard, because especially for anything that's big, right? The same we saw it happen with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like the ending. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan. Lost, another big example. But there's so much. It would be so hard to actually write the ending. And I think I was watching a YouTube video a long time ago about a guy basically saying the same thing. And he was like, if you actually look at the popularity of shows endings, depending if it's a comedy or a drama, basically depends gives you the rating. If it's a comedy, it's pretty steady. Like people rate the show pretty evenly throughout. If it's a drama, people tend to dislike it towards the end. That goes true for like Breaking Bad. That goes true for like obviously Game of Thrones. That goes true for I can't think of any example.
How I Met Your Mother though, definitely not.
Oh yeah,
that's
like
a comedy
that.
where just the whole last season and
I never watched it,
was just very weak.
But the reason I said it is because the guy was arguing like maybe it's not only the fact that endings are hard to write because you have to tie up all the loose ends, make it satisfactory, but also make it interesting, right? Yeah. It can't just be just a normal happy ending. But it's like, but fans, like it could just be fans' reactions. It's like the expectation is that high. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just went for a safe one on this. Just like like they're not trying to blow people's minds. They're just like
they
what,
went
fuck
after
it.
with The
J.J.
Last
Abrams
Jedi.
said fuck it. They were just like fuck it. Just just give them the softball that they want.
Time travel plot.
Yeah.
What if they went full Endgame? Like they were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what? We're Disney. Everything's the same.
Yeah.
And we get at the end, all the Force Ghosts are like on your left, and it's literally just Endgame.
You just see the people that died in Endgame. You see Tony Stark and like.
All I'm gonna say
else.
is this:
spoilers for Endgame.
How did Palpatine come back? There must be time travel.
I don't think he's actually back.
I knew ED must be time travel.
I don't think he's actually back. I have a feeling
he's Howard Stark. What if he's Howard Stark?
Yo, I think we gotta stop this podcast.
Thank the gods for Bessie.
We've gone on 22 minutes too long.
Thank the gods for Bessie. That's all I'm gonna say.
But just as a last note, I don't think Palpatine. My personal opinion is I have a feeling he's not actually back. Maybe there's something about him. Like somebody's trying either to
the amalgamation of.
There's
Palpatine.
like some people
Copycat.
No, there's some people that probably like worship
seen those
him.
before.
I'm using air quotes, because that's my guess. It's like
yeah.
So it's like people that maybe want what he I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But who knows? Maybe they'll bring him back. Who the fuck cares?
Well, I think successful first podcast.
I think I did a really good job.
Tell us what
of
you
having
think.
a thesis on literally everything ever.
All right, we're still recording. I guess we could stop. No, let's just keep it going.
What if we just
bring this to riches? Let's just fucking record everything.
You hear a beep in the car.
Yeah. Hey, fucking asshole.
Man.
All right.
I don't know why I said all.
Thanks for listening, guys. This is your host, ASMR James.
Oh, good God.
Coming at you live. Yeah, this is wait. Actually, a lot of ASMR people like ice.
All right, this gimmick will be back in week 2.
We'll see you next time on whatever this podcast is called.
What was it? What was the name suggestion you came up with in the beginning? I forget what you. Somebody said something like
Captain Hindsight's.
That's not a bad one. Yeah, that's not a bad one.
We could do that.
Something like that.
Something
like
along those
some
lines.
variation of that.
We'll figure it out.
That could be like.
Leave your name suggestions in the comments below.
Make sure to pulverize that like and subscribe.
Yeah,
button.
support us on
I know
Patreon.
another channel that does that.
Yeah.
All right.
Go watch Belmont Bunch.
Yeah, these great kids that are doing it. They're true Americans.
I heard a bunch of losers.